Very good, very good.
Welcome to GamesBeat Online.
So exciting to be here.
The world premiere. And I've got my device here in case some feedback from the world we are ever ready for it. Oh. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Absolutely. I'm the CEO of Fuel Powered. We're a company that creates producer-driven live ops solutions, as well as cloud-based features for mobile games.
Okay, so like what kind of mobile games? You're like talking like, you know, Kim Kardashian type games, more arcadey games. What kind of games would people be playing where they might experience what you're doing?
That's a great question. Kim Kardashian's a great game, actually. Okay. But the majority of the games that we work with are casual arcade games. So things like Sonic Dash, Triple Town, and essentially any game where you have a core loop mechanic that's between 2 and 5 minutes.
Okay. Okay, got it. And then, so for people who maybe might not be as familiar, what are the difference between the game I play, like I play Triple Town, I played Sonic, and the operations of it, like it's an ongoing concern? Like what's sort of the difference? Where do you sort of draw the line?
They're kind of the same in a sense. So when you look at live ops in general, it's really about how do you keep a game fresh, relevant to the users? How do you keep delighting the users? At the end of the day, developers want to keep their users retained and make them have fun and hopefully spend. All about that is, it's all about delighting users. And today we live in a world where we have real-time analytics. We understand in real time how players are interacting with our game. And what you want to be able to do is take action in real time. Players in general will stick around in a game for 1 week or two, so you want to kind of, if there are problems, if there are certain things that you're seeing within the game that can be improved, you want to be able to take action now. So when we look at taking action, what does that mean? It could be a bunch of things. It could be new levels. Yep. That takes a lot more time. That means content creation. It can be things like creating an event, a mission, a quest, or different types of offers. And these things are things that can be done in real time and delivered in real time to audiences. And that's one of the sort of things that we help provide.
So like if I'm playing like a Candy Crush and they're adding like another 100 levels, or if I'm playing Clash of Clans, like introducing like new side quests, new goals. That's basically the live operation.
Exactly. Okay,
and that's what you do. That's what Fuel provides to game makers.
Absolutely.
That's very, very cool. So what are the challenges? Like, so if I have a team and I'm making a game, it seems like there's a lot to do, right? So what are the main challenges that game creators have that you're helping them address?
Well, I think it's the biggest challenge today for all mobile games, I find, is that it's getting more and more difficult to be successful and to continue to grow. And it's because there's too many things to do. On one hand, you want to create the best games. On the other hand, you have to think about distribution, user acquisition, live ops, analytics, and the mountain of things that need to get done becomes bigger and bigger. We're in a phase in our industry where we're starting to see a lot of consolidation, and it's mainly because a lot of game developers are having trouble creating more hits, essentially balancing creating more hits at the same time as running their current hits.
Okay.
To give you an example, top 100 games today are operated by teams around 40 to 50 people.
Okay, I didn't realize a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
Okay.
That's a lot of engineers. That's a lot of people that are being tied up into making this game continue to be amazing for you.
Okay.
On the other hand, we ran this study and we saw that successful game developers, ones that broke into the top 100 grossing charts,
sure,
it takes them 15 games to find the next hit.
15 more games.
15 more games.
15 more full launches. This is going to be my next hit, not so much.
Exactly.
This is not going to be this. Okay, this is the one. Not so much. Okay,
so it's like you've launched it, you've built the game.
Wow.
15.
So that's a long time. That could be years.
So
how do they keep their main game going? How do you keep the original hit? How do you keep the lights on?
Exactly. Yeah. How do you balance the two? It's really tough. Especially if you're like a team of, let's say you're a team of 45 people,
yeah,
or like a team of 10 people. How are you going to keep doing that?
Well, I would. I'd keep everyone on the game that worked. I'd be like, well, we could work on new features, but you could never make another new game.
Well, that's the thing. the good news is that that game that's a hit,
Yep.
it can last up to 5 years. We're seeing like Jetpack Joyride, still a top ranking game.
That's an awesome game.
Like,
Yes.
I love the game.
Okay.
It's the game that got me into the business, actually.
Oh, right. Wait. Slow down. How did Jetpack Joyride get you into the business?
My brother told me to download Jetpack Joyride.
Okay.
And I'm a competitive person, and we were playing Jetpack Joyride. And I kept taking screenshots of my score and sending back and forth to my brother.
Oh, so you were doing
WhatsApp.
you were doing your own live ops. You're like, click, I'm winning, send. You're like brute force.
Yeah, brute force. I need to feel like I'm beating my brother.
Yes. Okay.
My little brother, because I can't
Absolutely.
lose to my little brother.
How will we learn? Gotcha.
And it was just bothering me that there wasn't multiplayer, just basic asynchronous multiplayer, which is kind of how we got started. We looked at the market, and the majority of great games that are these small session games that are great arcade games that you play and then you start getting the same high score after a while and it kind of gets boring. They should have multiplayer. They should have community. They should have the ability for me to challenge my friends, but also to challenge people that share the same passion as me for the game.
Okay.
So that I can keep getting that feeling of winning, right?
Got it.
Some of us, kind of like 30% of us, play games to kick ass.
So wait, okay, but that's a big leap. What did you do? So okay, Jetpack Joyride, you're better than your brother, you're feeling it, you are activated. What did you do? What was the action you took?
My friend worked at Social Gold, and Halfbrick was a client. So she put me in touch with the CEO, and I just asked him the question, why don't you have this?
For you at home, Halfbrick is in Australia, so when he just says got in touch and made a call, he crossed the globe to get this done. But okay, back to you. So you found the Halfbrick CEO.
And we just had a conversation, and he talked about how their team, their core focus is making great games.
Yep.
They don't have, they didn't have at the time, and I'm not sure if they do now, a team of people who are meant to be there to build online infrastructure, to build, or an engine, or even multiplayer.
Sure.
And so for them, it was for a feature that's periphery to what I do, which is what's going to be for him was like, the way we're going to win is by creating incredible core game mechanic and great IP. And that's what we're good at. That's our competitive advantage. If we start building out all these different resources, these are not things that we're going to be good at.
Yeah.
So there was a part that was like, I'm not good at this, and I don't want to become good at this because it's not core to what I do as a game developer.
You know, it sounds a little bit like Unity in a way, where people wanted to make games, not necessarily make game engines.
Yeah.
Right? And Unity came along and democratized it. So now that, who knows, I think like 1 million users, an incredible number of people are using this to get to the step of releasing a game.
80%, I think it's like 90% of game developers use an engine.
Yes.
And I think 70% of mobile use Unity today.
So is this sort of like a live ops engine? Like if I'm trying to solve this ongoing after I created the game, is that sort of what you're trying to do?
Exactly. So what we've created is essentially that. It's a live ops engine, but it's made for producers.
Okay.
So that you don't need a team of engineers to help you create events, create features on the fly.
Gotcha.
A producer and an artist can sit down and in a matter of minutes create a series of events, target different cohorts in their audience, test it, launch it, and see if it worked.
Gotcha. So that's awesome. So then they don't, well, it seems like for an engineer, there'd be two parts. There's the engineers you must have to develop the software, and then there'd be the engineers they need to keep going in ongoing concern. So you're sort of taking both of those roles and giving them a tool.
Yeah, we're giving a tool to do that so that the engineers can work on two things.
Yep.
The two things that are going to be most important for their success.
Okay.
One is the core game mechanic, because you can always improve that.
Okay.
And level creation. And the other part is spending the time to find that next hit, because you're going to have to create another 15 games.
And you need all the engineers for that.
Yeah.
You need all the engineers for that. So let me sort of bring it around because people are watching at home. We talk about a lot of things. So if I've got a hit game and I've got X number of engineers, right? I'm going to want them doing one of three things: making new features, right, for this game, making a new game, right, or operating the game as it stands right now, right? Where I'm doing A/B testing, new features, special events in the game as exists.
Exactly.
That third one is the one that you're focused on.
Exactly.
Right? So they can focus on these two that maybe move the company forward in interesting ways.
Move the company, exactly. Move the company forward, take the time to innovate on new game mechanics and kind of do what they're best at.
Yep. No, I get it. The engine metaphor makes it sort of clear for me because I imagine you've got a team that's focused specifically on this. And so your product is iterating too, right? So how does your product evolve? Might be a good question.
That's a great question. One of the things that, and it was kind of our beginning keys to success was that as we built this, we decided that we needed to iterate quickly.
Okay.
And to do so, we couldn't have people take SDK updates or engine updates.
Okay.
So we built it in a way where any update is delivered over the air on the fly. So to give you an example, when we started with our multiplayer product, we did 400 iterations of it over the course of 9 months.
Got it.
And
that seems like a lot. Okay. That's
a
more
lot.
than one a day.
That's more than one a day.
Okay, just doing
We're running a bunch of experience. We are running our product like as a live ops product.
Yes.
And what is exactly?
Okay, yeah.
Well, it's kind of what led to us creating that platform. It's like we looked at that one product and we were like, well, we're operating this way and we're seeing a lot of success. So, but we improved our core metrics by 400% over that time.
Fantastic. So the core metrics, just once again, are the metrics that people who are using your fuel product experience with their customers.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
Which was 7-day retention.
Fantastic. That's everyone out there pitching a mobile game. You're going to be asked about your 7-day and your 30-day retention. You know this, and your 1 day. Also very important. Okay, but if you're moving the needle on 7 days, you're actually keeping companies in business. You're making them more relevant.
Yeah, and with multiplayer, it's interesting because who do we keep? Who does it keep most relevant? It tends to be the players who love your game the most. Okay. The players who've gone through the game, your whales, the ones who've gone through the game, absorbed all the content, and now want to do something more.
And just to be clear for everyone, so when you talk about multiplayer, you're talking about asynchronous multiplayer events.
Yes.
So like leaderboards, contests, competitions, where we can take our turn whenever, but we're all being compared in some way, shape, or form to achieve a goal or get a victory, like you with your little brother.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
And the goal can be a virtual reward, or it can be just you being happy.
It could be an emoji.
An emoji.
Or dare I say a Bitmoji. If you're out there, Bitmoji, you're doing great. A Bitmoji bringing together, bringing to life your victory. That is cool. So what is how do people integrate your product? Like, how does it actually work? Like, someone calls Fuel, do you assess and recommend? Is it a white label product experience? Like, how does it work?
So yeah, you can get in touch with us by going to fuelpower.com.
Okay.
Or you can send me an email at mick@fuelpower.com.
Or a tweet.
Or a tweet.
I learned this one, Mick_Naayem. 2 A's.
But essentially, it's an SDK.
Okay.
The SDK contains all the different set of features that we offer. So it can be asynchronous multiplayer, it can be live events, missions, and essentially you choose which ones you want to integrate. It's a couple of lines of code, and then you have a platform to operate it from.
And then you skin it. That's why you need the artist, because you've got to make it look.
Yeah,
like
it's total. Yeah. The most important part for us, and that came from the Half-Brick learning, because at the time there was OpenFaint out there and Game Center. The most important part is whatever third-party solution you end up using that's going to be consumer-facing, it needs to feel like a core part of the game. If it doesn't, users are going to be disengaged. So the beauty of games is that they pull us away from everyday life and put us into this very immersive world. And if you rip someone out of that, then they're going to be startled and go away.
Talk a little bit about. So, I mean, you have these long-term working relationships like Half-Brick, you mentioned the Sonic games with Sega. So what is that like? How does it, I guess, evolve? Like, people, when they first got Unity, it was a little less wieldy than it is today, right? And they've sort of grown with it, and they've gotten used to, the updates, and now it's a very refined product. offering all sorts of features.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're going through the same experience now, where what is it like for these mobile teams that have started off with you and now are sort of, I guess, riding the wave into the future with you?
No, it's, I think the way we've been able to move forward intelligently has really been because of our, and we don't call our customers, we call them partners.
Okay.
And it's because it is a partnership. And in a sense, what we've been able to do is have a very open relationship with people we work with, Sega, Miniclip, Spryfox, and we actively ask them for advice and ask them what their problems are so that we can create solutions for the future.
2 questions related to that. So there's a lot of mobile developers. What is the right time to engage with you? So, I mean, you mentioned some big, like Spryfox. Hey, Dave Edery, awesome company, right?
Yeah.
The other ones too, but pretty big kahunas, right? If people are emerging mobile developers, they're working on their first hit, or what they hope to be their first hit. When do they engage with you? How does, you know, I mean, like, when is it the right time? When do they have the, so to speak, that Star Trek warp drive and you're like, okay, it's time for fuel to go next level?
I would always recommend people to launch their games first.
Okay.
And then see what it does in the market, and see whether or not this is the game that you want to continue to invest in, or if you want to kind of create the next hit.
Or it's one of the 15.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Because at the end of the day, you want to try to be as efficient as possible, and you want to be able to figure out what's going to please your audiences as quickly as possible. And your audience doesn't have to be large, but it just has to be a game that you want to continue to invest in.
Okay, that makes sense. And how about you guys? So you're continuing, what is next to you? What is the next big fuel milestone?
So November 1st, we're launching the live events and mission product.
Oh, so like now?
Yeah, now.
Coming soon, November 1st, 11/1.
Exactly.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
And so that's what I'm really excited about.
Okay, now wait, there's something new incoming. I got my world premiere. What exactly is it that's coming November 1st?
So essentially, it's going to be a producer-oriented live events management, creation and management tool.
Okay.
So just picture that as a producer of a game, you wake up in the morning and you decide you want to create a Halloween-themed leaderboard event for your new players, and they're going to have to complete 3 different levels and gather XYZ amounts of stones.
Got it.
You can go, rather than having a team of people go and create that for you, you can log into our portal, set up your parameters, grab your artist to design really cool art for this, and just launch it immediately.
Well, I want one.
Within a couple of hours.
My birthday is November 9th, so I'm actually thinking about my own events. What I would want in my mobile game. Halloween will be in the past, but I think I could be like, okay, I want to launch something. So that is cool. I get it. So the question everyone has, like, so the way to find you, right? How do you make it actionable? You said go to your website, but who do they reach? Like, if someone wants to know more, who do they contact? How do they specifically contact you? Email to you? What is your email?
Email to me, mick@fuelpowered.com.
That's M-Y-K.
M-I-K.
M-I-K. See? M-I-K
at
fuelpowered.com.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us for the debut of GamesBeat Online. Say goodbye to our audience somewhere out there, all across the world.
Gordon, it was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure for me, too. Good times.